Hi comrades, welcome to this video on electric vehicles. This is going to be a really informative video, and it's probably going to be really long, but I'm pretty sure that you're going to learn a lot of new things about this new sector, a relatively new sector, which is electric vehicles. And I'm going to explain a lot of different facts and figures and try to my hope is for the listeners to develop a new understanding, a better understanding on the electric vehicle market and the scope for future of electric vehicles in India. So first I'm going to go about these 4 pillars, and then I'm going to discuss about the FAME policy, which has been in India for more than 2 phases, so more than 8 years. So let's just jump into the video. So the first thing, the 4 pillars I'm going to talk about is range, second one is charging, third one is price, and fourth is policy. And as I told you, so I'm going to link the policy to the current policy in India. So range, according to various different studies which are conducted in different countries and different years, the major reason for why people do not buy electric vehicles is because of range anxiety. What is range anxiety? So basically, most of the commercially available electric vehicles which is accessible to all the customers have now more than 200 to maximum 300 kilometer range. So what does this mean? For one single full charge, it's going to run for 300 kilometers in ideal conditions. So what if I have to take a road trip, 1,000-kilometer road trip? If I had a petrol vehicle, I won't be worried because there are close to 70,000 petrol pumps in all over India. So if I have to go to a place which is 1,000 kilometers away from my city of residence, I won't be worried because I know I will find a petrol pump on the highway. But whereas if I have an electric vehicle, this situation changes. The circumstance changes. And why is that? There are only 934 charging stations all over India, public charging stations. Some studies say 1,084 or whatnot, but less than 1,200 on approximate. So up to 70,000 to 1,200. And right, so this is one reason, right? So I have an anxiety, like I have range anxiety, so that if I have to go for a long travel or if I have to go somewhere very far, and if that place doesn't have a charging infrastructure where I can plug in my vehicles, then I'm going to be stuck there. And unlike petrol vehicles where I can just get a bottle and fill up the vehicle with fuel, I cannot do that with electric vehicles. Correct? And currently the current technology and infrastructure is such that I cannot even supercharge or fast charge my vehicle in 5 to 10 minutes, right? And I cannot, if I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere, I'm pretty sure I can't charge my vehicle to get it back to wherever, to a safe space. So all these small factors do add up and do lead to this number one reason why people do not buy electric vehicles, which is range anxiety. So Norway, a really interesting case study I wanted to share over here. Norway in 2021, if according to some studies I read, almost 83% of all new vehicles bought in Norway were electric vehicles. So now you might be thinking, hey, don't Norwegians have range anxiety? Or what is it that they've done which has helped Norwegians decrease or reduce their anxiety about the range of the vehicle? So there are multiple reasons, so I will go through them one by one. First reason, they have a good charging infrastructure. They have a very good charging infrastructure which is funded by the government, and they're strategically placed, and even there are parking slots exclusively for electric vehicles which has a charging station or charging port where you could charge your vehicle in public. So this gives some sort of, this enables confidence, right? This this inspires confidence in the customer, saying that okay, if I go somewhere, I'm pretty sure that if I go to any public space where there are people around, I'm pretty sure I'll find a charging station there. So this reduces the number one reason, this eliminates the number one reason people do not buy electric vehicles, which is range anxiety. Second reason, this is more interesting, this is more nuanced. This is to do with the society as a whole. See, Norway is a very developed country, right? The tax rates are up to 50% in some instances. So the citizens are well-to-do. correct? And most of the citizens have two vehicles. So this is the kicker. The first vehicle is obviously the electric vehicle, which they use to commute inside the city of Norway, inside their own city, inside a city in Norway, not Norway. Norway is a country. First vehicle. The second vehicle, it's an ICE vehicle, which is an internal combustion engine. And this, you don't have range anxiety, because you know for a fact that you're going to find a petrol station or a gas station wherever on your road trip when you go for further trips, or when you go to countries where the charging infrastructure is not available. So this completely eliminates the number one factor, which is range anxiety. Another problem is quick discharge. So if you ever use your phone, you would have noticed that sometimes the battery discharges very, very quickly, right? Because of the external conditions or whatnot, correct? Under extreme cold or extreme heat, right? The battery performance is unpredictable and can vary a lot. So this will definitely affect your prediction of how far or how long the vehicle can go. So quick discharge is also a supplementary. It also adds fuel to the fire, which is range anxiety, because you're not sure, you cannot predict how far or how long a vehicle will run, right? Next one, so range anxiety. So I've given a study on Norway. So this is another reason is no public charging infrastructure, especially in a country like India, as I told, right? There are only less than 1,200 charging stations, public charging stations. And I'll tell you what is the problem with this also. Even though we have 1,200, what is the problem? Why haven't we scaled up a lot? Correct. So there's no public charging stations, and as I've told you, 934 less than 1,200 to 70,000 petrol stations all over India. Now let us come to charging infrastructure. Right now, one thing is you need to realize is not all vehicles have the same charging port like your phones. So you have your micro USB, you've got your Type C, you've got your Lightning, like in your phones, for example. The same thing is also in your electric vehicles. You've got ChargeDemo, you've got the IEEE, you've got Tesla's own proprietary charger. So there are different types of chargers in each electric vehicle charging. So now if I were to set up a station, which one do I set up? Which type of charger do I need to put in my station? This is confusion, right? So yeah, some vehicle manufacturers go to incline towards a single particular type of charging stations, but overall this is a problem. Because if I have to set up a charging station, I'm confused what type of charges. Yes, you can say, okay, why doesn't the government set up the most popular vehicle? But then this leads to a problem of supporting only one type of one type of vehicle manufacturers, a group of vehicle manufacturers. Because then what happens, it creates a monopoly, right? If you do not have this type of vehicle, you cannot charge in the charging infrastructure set up by the government. And this again leads to consolidation of electric vehicle market to single or a few electric vehicle manufacturers. So there's a lot of problem in policy if you go to see in charging infrastructure. So what could be done here? Something like a Type C. Right, the USB Type C, which is the universal pin which you could put either way, was a collaboration between multiple brands like Intel, Apple and Microsoft, and all of them collaborated together to come with one cable. This cable can be scaled up, so this can deliver a lot more power, which can be even used to power your laptops to this lower, so that is to the lower power requirements like your earphones or whatnot. Correct. So this is something which might be required, but again, so this requires collaboration and this requires some more certainty for the future for charging infrastructure. Correct. Another thing would be electricity grids. Currently, electricity grids might not be able to support or the utilization, or like if everyone were to charge electric vehicles, it's going to be really high, which the electricity grid might not be able to support. So this creates a problem. So until and unless we have the infrastructure, the electrical infrastructure to support this, it's going to be really, really hard for us to promote electric vehicles in the streets, because the charging infrastructure won't be as much, and this will again lead to the range anxiety problem, which is the number one reason why people aren't buying electric vehicles. Correct. And then again, so the number of chargers again. So as we've already spoken about, in India, for example, is less than 1,200 chargers in all over India compared to the 70,000 petrol stations. So this is going to create a problem, and the number of chargers is very low. So if for example, if I'm living in a remote area and I want to charge my vehicle, and there's no electricity in my town, the closest I have to go is maybe 300 to 400 kilometers away to just access a public charger. So this creates a problem. Yes, this can be solved through technology, but this is the current state of electric vehicle and electric vehicle charging infrastructure in India. Correct. And finally, availability. You need to have, if I were to charge my vehicle, I should be sure that, okay, whenever I go, this electricity should be available. And this is not the case in many parts of India. You cannot have 24/7 reliable electricity for you to be assured that whenever I want to charge my vehicle, I can. So this creates problem, and this again adds fuel to the fire of anxiety regarding range. So so as you can understand where the customer is coming from and what are the problems pegging the electric vehicle industry.